Yeah, hi folks, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. And my special guest and co-host, Greg Anderson, is with me.
I'm very lucky. I can't believe I've got the call up again.
You've got the call up because we've dropped Phil.
Oh, we've dropped him now?
Dropped him out.
Bees?
Well, he's in the bees.
Okay,
Just needed some time off. He just needed some time away from the big league.
I thought I did pretty well last week, so I thought I was waiting for the phone call.
And the selectors rang you, and they said, mate, you're in. No, welcome, mate. Plenty to talk about with sport in SA at the present time. But we've got to touch on, because everyone else is touching on it, the camp. And not because, I'm a Port man or you're a Port man or whatever, doesn't matter. This is not good. This is not pretty. This is something that should have been knocked on the head 4 years ago. Bang, straight away.
It's interesting when Eddie sort of came out and spoke about it, I thought, well, sometimes when you go on these camps, what goes on the camp stays on the camp, but all of a sudden, actually, Eddie, you could be right here.
That's right.
He's really opened up a can of worms that has affected a lot of players. A lot of them putting their hands up and it's affected them. And I think, obviously, the story's going to get bigger and bigger. But it's just funny, early days, I thought, Eddie, should you be bringing this up?
Yeah,
and he should be. He should be now.
Yeah, that's right. I felt the same way, Greg. I must admit.
Yep.
You think, come on, one bloke's having a little bit of a go here, but, the rest of the players. But you know what got me, mate? What got me was when a player like Rory Sloane comes out and says, I came back a better person, a better family man, a better father, a better son. Like that. And I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Well, he said that as well.
But then Eddie comes out and says, we were told to say that to our partners. Now, that's where it gets a little bit, hang on, what are you doing? Are you trying to cover up something here or whatever? Put it this way. It's not good enough what they've done. And they should have knocked it on the head 4 years ago. We know that. And it's, there was an article written earlier in the week, this week, by Michael Maguire. In the Times. How it got past the editor, I've got no idea because it was scathing of Adelaide. And I think Adelaide should have really come out and just gone bang here 4 years ago. And we wouldn't be talking about it now.
No.
Well, but I believe there's more players coming out now. And the litigation, mate, this is not going to go away. Graham Corn said about a year ago in the press, time to let go of the camp. Well, no, it's not, the players are not going to let go. The players are going to...
Well, not now. Not that. So, it's really its ugly head in many situations. But the club's point of view, they give this care to a company and say you run it. The structure looks great, and obviously they've gone out of the boundary line quite a bit.
Did they know this though, Greg?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Did they sit down and say, right, what we're going to do on the camp? If I'm sitting there and the guy come out and said, what we're going to do on the camp is, we're going to tie a couple of blokes up to a tree and we're going to abuse the hell out of them. I'd be going, no, whoa, no, don't do that.
But personalities change. So all of a sudden, someone in that company has grown in awe and he's decided, this is what I want to do.
You don't think that the Adelaide Footy Club football department knew what was going to go on?
But they probably knew the structure of it all. But when people get, you give an inch, you take a mile. And that's what some of these staff members might have done.
Well, if someone jumped on my back and started abusing me about my mother, I think I might have elbowed him in the head too. But then again, I wouldn't have gone. And the Melbourne blokes about a year ago or 2 years ago, they didn't go.
I know.
Now, I'd be saying to the club, I'm a footballer. I'm not abseiling, I'm not jumping off mountains, I'm not jumping out of planes, and you're not going to abuse me. I'm a footballer. I'm not going on your camp. You go on the camp.
It is very hard when you've got 38 players that are going. You sort of feel like you're a bit of a lamb and you need to go. You need to go. You don't want to ruffle it up. So I reckon you would, though.
It's a big show coming up, Ando, that's for sure, mate. We have plenty to talk about. The Southern Footy League. Whitey's coming in, Peter White, great player, Peter White.
One of my favourites,
The head coach of the Norwood Footy Club, Jay Rawley. He's a good story. He's a good story and a good fella.
Luke Marchiori from the SNFL.
That's hotting up at the present time. And a great South Australian, Amanda Fairley, softball coach.
She's done very, very well.
Look forward to having a chat to her because she's the youngest coach in the game worldwide and done a great job. That's all coming up on the SA Sports Show, but before all that, we'll get across to Nina for the news.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to another week in sport. Australia has made history at the Commonwealth Games, becoming the first country to earn 1,000 gold medals. And it was all thanks to the Aussie Diamonds, who beat out Jamaica in a thrilling netball final on Sunday night. Playing in front of a crowd of 8,000 fans, the Diamonds were booed during the game by the predominantly British crowd, whose English Roses were downed by Australia in the semi-finals the previous day. The physical match saw Australia take the lead at the first break, but a determined Jamaican side was able to make a comeback in the second, locking the scores at 29 apiece at half-time. Aussie Gretel Bueta was a standout, scoring an incredible 37 goals from 37 attempts, and Cara Conan, who scored a perfect 11 from 11. The Diamonds gained an early 9-point lead in the third, which seemed to be enough to withstand a late comeback from Jamaica, with the Aussies claiming victory by 4 points at full time. In the men's hockey, the Kookaburras extended their 24-year Commonwealth Games winning streak, beating out India in the final. It was a ruthless performance from the number 1 ranked side, who overpowered a lacklustre Indian squad to win 7-0. Incredibly, the Kookaburras have now won gold at every Commonwealth Games since the sport was first introduced in 1998. Australia closed out its successful Commonwealth Games campaign on Tuesday with 67 gold medals, 57 silver and 54 bronze, topping the leaderboard with a whopping 178 medals overall. England finished in second place, followed by Canada. And switching now to the AFL, it was a weekend to forget for Port Adelaide, who lost their match against Richmond by 38 points. The wet weather was no hurdle for the Tigers, who led at every break. However, their inaccurate goal kicking kept Port in the game well into the third quarter. Port young gun Jace Burgoyne had another excellent game, kicking a monster goal in the third, but it was all for naught, with Richmond dominating the final quarter to seal the win. The Power has now slipped to 8-12 for the season, a troubling record after playing back-to-back preliminary finals. The loss has reignited questions as to whether coach Ken Hinkley will lead the club in 2023. Port plays Essendon on Sunday at Marvel Stadium. And despite a difficult week that saw their now infamous 2018 pre-season camp back in the headlines, the Adelaide Crows managed a win in the West, defeating the Eagles by 16 points. It was an emotional game for the West Coast Eagles, who farewelled club legend Josh Kennedy in front of a season-high crowd of 50,000. Kennedy finished the game with an impressive 8 goals, the most any player has kicked in a game this season, but not even this could stop the Crows. Darcy Fogarty continued his good form, kicking 4 goals won, while Rory Laird finished with 36 disposals, 10 clearances and 2 goals in his 200th game. The win was the Crows' first at Optus Stadium and their second win in a row after they downed Carlton last week. They next face North Melbourne on Saturday at Adelaide Oval. And after losing the Wimbledon final in July, Nick Kyrgios recorded his first ATP win in 3 years, winning the City Open in Washington on Sunday. Kyrgios defeated Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka in straight sets before going on to win the doubles final as well, alongside American Jack Sock. Kyrgios is the first player in the tournament's 53-year history to win both the singles and doubles titles in the same year. The win lifts the Aussies' ranking to number 37 in the world. Well, that's all the news for this week. I'm Nina Smagic. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be right back after the break with more from the SA Sports Show.